Hey guys, Lydia here from Creator Studios, and today I'm going to be teaching you guys and showing you how I made my torture test. So let's get started. Alright guys, so I know it's kind of different, and sorry about the train in the background. I am in Seattle, Washington. I'm on a trip seeing my family, so I am not in my normal spot, and I do not have my mic, but I do have my computer, and I decided to make a video on there for you guys. So I will not be doing a lot of camera time. I will be putting this video up for you guys, so I hope you guys enjoy this video. Okay, so starting off, what I'm going to be doing is just making the rectangle. It doesn't really matter what size it is. I'm just basically just sketching something up, and then I can scale it up later or just scale it up in the slicer. But then I'm gonna make these circles because sometimes I'm using Kyra, so sometimes Kyra doesn't give you the best circles, and so this is one test. And then I'm going to do some bridging towers, kind of. Just to, right now, I will make some later in Tinkercad. So these are just arms, and then the base is going to be about 3 millimeters. The default is 5, but that's just too much. I don't need that much thickness on the bottom. So I extrude that, and then just going to extrude the holes to make them holes. I was going to make these little pointy cylinders, but I will do that later in Tinkercad. So just making the arms here, and then I'll put a base over the top. So now I'm just going to draw on one of these pillars a rectangle to make the bridge part of this bridge testing piece. And I did have a little problem with getting it on both sides of the arms, but I did fix that. And when you do go down, make sure you're not cutting into it. You want to make sure you're making a new body or joining. You want to join everything. I accidentally made everything a new body, so then in the end you'll see I have to combine all the bodies, but that is not a big deal. So then I'll just extrude this. So now once I have the top, I'm just going to make a smaller version of what I just did. I didn't want to do just one. This one's going to be a shorter distance shorter distance in the middle. Then the other one was a lot wider. So you'll get an idea of what your printer can handle with the overhang length. I probably could have done kind of with the lettering thing, I don't really know. I could have basically written on here telling me how long it is so I could tell what my printer can handle, but I didn't do that on this. I will do that on the overhang parts, and you'll see that later. So again, I'll just be extruding this part, and this will be the only two overhang parts that are connected to each other like this. So now I am going to be making two little cylinder kind of things that will go maybe like 10 millimeters high, just to test the cooling with the fan duct on my printer. And if you guys use this, it'll test your fan and the cooling. Alright, so now I'm going to be doing the angling testing part. What I wasn't really sure what I was going to do for this, but then I remembered there was an angling thing on here, you'll see. So I'm basically just going to be making these rectangles, and then I have to make an angled plane. So you just go to plane at angle, and then you click aside, and then I will be labeling the angles so that you and I will know what angle our printer can handle. It's pretty easy, and then I just have to draw another rectangle on the angled plane and extrude it. So once I finish those angling parts, I will put in a couple more later. But then now I'm going to be doing a like a gap test, I guess, for the gap that your print can handle, like 0.3, 0.2, 0.4. I guess it's the tolerance. So I'm just gonna be making these just lines, I guess. I don't know. I put the outside lines on, and then I will label that just like I did the angling part. I will only have 0.3, 0.2, and 0.4 labeled on here. But for you guys, if you want to design your own, you can definitely do as big or as small as you want. I know my printer, the most or the minimum it can handle is 0.3, but I did a 0.2 on here anyways. But so I'll just fast forward through this and show you guys what I did. So as you can kind of see, I moved over the circles, and now I'm going to be putting in a 45-degree angle and a 60-degree angle. Now finally, before we head over to Tinkercad, I'm going to be adding 3 squares just for another test to make sure my sizing is right. So I'll label one 5 millimeters, I think, 10 millimeters, and 15. And I'm not gonna make them like the circles, which would go all the way through the base. They're just going to have a little indent. And then after this, we can hop over to Tinkercad and finish everything else up. Alright, so like I mentioned in the beginning of the video, whenever I would extrude something, I wouldn't um, join it to the main base, which was body 1. I would create a new body. So now I'm just combining all the bodies. So I'll select all of them, and then I'll use the combine tool so that it is one body, so I can export it as an STL, and then we can bring it over to Tinkercad. Alright, so we have it in Tinkercad, and the first thing I'm going to do is have 3 pyramids. One is 5 by 5 millimeters, and then I think the others are 10 and 15. But I'm just going to have 3 different sizes of this just to see the difference between the points and how wide they are. So now I'm just going to bring in one cone. I'm going to make this pretty tall actually to get the thinnest point as possible to measure the cooling again and just how fine I can get my printer to print. You guys can put this however thin or small or tall you want. And then I'm going to add a half sphere just to test the roundness of how well it'll print. Just half. Some people like to put an actual ball, which I think was a good idea, but for this I'm just going to do half. And then here I'm going to do another little testing for the overhangs. So I'm just going to make basically like a little ladder looking thing with 2 in the middle, and then there will be a little cone on one of them just to test the small cone also. So the final thing I have to do is, it doesn't have to do with the torture test thing, but I'm going to put my name on the bottom underneath so you can see it. It'll just say Creator Studios 3D Printing so that you guys know I made this. And as you can see, everything is one color now. I did Control A and then Control G to group everything so it is one part, so it's not all individual different colors like you guys saw earlier. So I'm just going to make this bottom logo part, and then that is it. Then it'll be ready for printing. I am again in Seattle, so I cannot print this yet, but I will do a print of this with my Tesla Purple PLA review, so you guys can check that out when that video comes out. Alright, so I exported this into Kyra, and my settings are just pretty normal. It is a 0.2 layer height, and you can do any kind of infill you want. I have mine set to 45, and then my normal PLA settings 210C and 70 degrees for the bed. I did change my retraction to 10 millimeters. I've been having retraction problems, so this can also help with testing your retraction. I might make another little test for that because I have been having a little problem with that. And then I'm changing my retraction speed to 60 millimeters per second. I haven't tried that yet. I just am thinking that might be the problem. I do have a skirt on, and you do not need supports on for this. That would just basically ruin the point of this tester. And so I have 3 top layer, 3 bottom layer. That's what I usually have for most of my prints. And then I have a wall count of 2. And just to make sure that it is all working and it will slice right, I will go into layer view, and there again is my logo or name on the bottom that I put. I'm just going to check the layers and see how everything will go. Alright guys, so that is it for today's video. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you learned something new. I know it was a quick video, but thank you for sticking around, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.